ancient Macedonia, where legends were born amidst the clash of swords and the echo of conquests, one name echoed through the annals of history with resounding reverence: Alexander the Great. His tale, etched in the sands of time, weaves a narrative of ambition, brilliance, and the insatiable thirst for glory that propelled a young prince to ascend the throne of a vast empire. But beyond the battles and triumphs lay a complex soul, a visionary strategist, a passionate leader, and a man entangled in the labyrinth of his own aspirations. Join the expedition into the life and legacy of a ruler whose ambition knew no bounds, whose dreams painted the world's canvas in hues of conquest and empire. Alexander the Great was born in 356 BC in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia, which is in modern-day Greece. He was the son of King Philip II of Macedon and Queen Olympias. His upbringing was influenced by remarkable figures: his father, a powerful and strategic king, and his mother, who had her roots in mysticism and religion, instilled in Alexander a sense of ambition and a belief in his own destiny. As a child, Alexander received an education that was exceptional even by the standards of royalty. He was tutored by the philosopher Aristotle, who nurtured his intellect, taught him rhetoric, literature, science, and medicine, and imbued in him a love for learning and culture. From an early age, Alexander exhibited leadership qualities and a thirst for knowledge and adventure. He was known for his fearlessness and physical prowess, showcased in his training with military exercises and horseback riding. His exposure to the Macedonian court and military campaigns alongside his father granted him early insights into the art of warfare and diplomacy. However, his childhood was not without turmoil. His father's multiple marriages and relationships brought about tensions in the royal family, and Alexander's own position as heir to the throne was not always secure. Nonetheless, he grew up deeply influenced by the political and military atmosphere of the time, which would later shape his ambitions and actions as a ruler. Alexander the Great's parents played influential roles in shaping his life and character. Alexander's father, Philip II, was the king of Macedon and a formidable military leader. He transformed Macedonia from a fragmented kingdom into a powerful and unified state. Known for his military innovations and strategic reforms, Philip reorganized the Macedonian army, introducing the sarissa, a long spear, and creating a professional, disciplined fighting force. His ambition was to expand Macedonian territory and establish dominance over Greece. He was a shrewd diplomat and an astute politician, often using marriage alliances to secure peace or expand his influence. Philip's assassination in 336 BC abruptly altered the political landscape and thrust his son Alexander into the role of king. Olympias, Alexander's mother, was a woman of strong character and intense personality. She hailed from the Molossian dynasty in Epirus, northwest Greece, and had a reputation for her mystic beliefs and connections to religious practices. She was deeply involved in the cult of Dionysus, which added to her enigmatic aura. Olympias was fiercely protective of Alexander and deeply involved in his upbringing. She instilled in him a sense of his own divine destiny, claiming that Alexander's true father was Zeus, the king of the Greek gods. This belief in his divine parentage shaped Alexander's own perceptions of himself and his destiny. She was politically astute and often engaged in the complex web of Macedonian court politics, which sometimes led to tensions, especially after Philip's multiple marriages. After Philip's assassination, Olympias played a role in securing Alexander's ascent to the throne, though her relationship with him became strained over time. Both parents had a significant impact on Alexander's early life, instilling in him a blend of ambition, military prowess, strategic thinking, and a sense of divine purpose that would come to define his legendary journey as a conqueror. Alexander the Great's horse, Bucephalus, was a legendary and beloved companion of the king. Bucephalus was renowned for his strength, speed, and loyalty to Alexander. The story of Bucephalus is often intertwined with the young Alexander's early life. Legend has it that Bucephalus was a magnificent horse that no one could tame, When Alexander was a teenager, he visited a horse market where he encountered Bucephalus, a powerful and untamed stallion. Despite the horse's wild behavior, Alexander noticed that Bucephalus was afraid of his own shadow. Showing his remarkable insight, Alexander turned Bucephalus to face the sun, calming the horse and demonstrating his natural ability to understand and handle animals. Impressed by Alexander's handling of the horse, his father, King Philip II of Macedon, bought Bucephalus as a gift for his son. The horse and Alexander formed an unbreakable bond, and Bucephalus became Alexander's trusted companion and mount throughout his conquests. Alexander the Great's father, King Philip II of Macedon, met a tragic end. In 336 BC, Philip was assassinated at Aegae, modern-day Virginia, during his daughter Cleopatra's wedding celebrations. The exact motives behind his assassination remain debated among historians. The assassin was Pausanias, a member of Philip's bodyguard, and possibly an embittered former lover seeking revenge. Some theories suggest political motivations involving other individuals who might have seen Philip as a threat or who had personal grievances against him. Philip's death dramatically changed the political landscape of ancient Greece. His passing thrust Alexander, then only 20 years old, into the position of king. This event marked the beginning of Alexander's reign and his swift consolidation of power as the new ruler of Macedonia. In 336 BC, Alexander was quickly proclaimed the new king of Macedon. He ascended to the throne at the age of 20, inheriting a kingdom that his father had transformed into a formidable military and political power. Initially, there were concerns about Alexander's ability to maintain control, especially amidst potential challenges to his rule. However, Alexander swiftly took decisive actions to solidify his position as king. He demonstrated strength and leadership by swiftly dealing with internal rebellions and external threats to his authority. Alexander also skillfully navigated the politics of the Macedonian court, securing the loyalty of key supporters and eliminating potential rivals. His actions, including the swift execution of those suspected of plotting against him, sent a clear message of his determination to rule and his willingness to assert his authority. Additionally, he sought to project an image of continuity with his father's legacy, while also establishing his own identity and leadership style. His charisma, military prowess, and ability to inspire loyalty among his followers played crucial roles in consolidating his rule and winning the support of the Macedonian nobility and army. Alexander the Great's army was a formidable force that played a pivotal role in his conquests and the expansion of his empire. Comprising soldiers from Macedon and various other regions, his army was highly disciplined, well-trained and adaptive, reflecting Alexander's military innovations and leadership. The core of Alexander's infantry was the Macedonian phalanx. This formation consisted of heavily armed soldiers called hoplites, who wielded long spears known as sarissas. They formed a tightly packed formation, presenting a wall of spears that was difficult for enemies to penetrate. The elite companion cavalry was a crucial component of Alexander's army. These highly skilled and heavily armed horsemen were led by Alexander himself. They were renowned for their speed, agility, and devastating charges on the battlefield. Alexander's army was not solely Macedonian, it also included troops from various regions he conquered. These diverse units comprised infantry, cavalry, archers, and other specialized troops, reflecting the amalgamation of different cultures and military techniques. One of Alexander's strengths was his ability to adapt his tactics to different terrains and opponents. He encouraged innovation and flexibility among his soldiers, allowing them to adjust their strategies based on the battlefield conditions. Alexander's leadership style fostered a deep sense of loyalty among his troops. He led by example, fighting alongside his soldiers on the front lines, which earned their respect and commitment. His army was supported by an efficient logistics system that ensured a steady supply of provisions and equipment during campaigns, enabling them to sustain prolonged military campaigns across vast distances. Alexander's army's success was not only due to its superior training and weaponry, but also to the charismatic leadership of Alexander himself. His strategic brilliance, innovative tactics, and ability to inspire unwavering loyalty among his troops were instrumental in the numerous victories that established his empire as one of the greatest in history. Alexander the Great surrounded himself with a circle of advisors, generals, and friends who played significant roles in his life, both personally and politically. Among all of Alexander's friends, Hephaestion held a special place. He was Alexander's closest companion from childhood, and their bond was akin to that of brothers. Hephaestion accompanied Alexander on his campaigns, shared his ambitions, and was often consulted on matters both personal and political. Parmenion was one of Alexander's most trusted generals and advisors. He was a seasoned and skilled military commander who played a pivotal role in many of Alexander's early conquests. Parmenion's loyalty and strategic counsel were highly valued by Alexander, although suspicions led to his eventual execution, possibly due to concerns about his loyalty. Though not directly involved in military campaigns, Aristotle, the famed philosopher, was Alexander's tutor during his formative years. He instilled in Alexander a love for learning, philosophy, and culture. Aristotle's teachings influenced Alexander's intellectual pursuits and his vision of creating a culturally diverse empire. Ptolemy was one of Alexander's most successful generals, later becoming Ptolemy I, the founder of the Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt. He played crucial roles in battles and conquests and was a close friend of Alexander. Ptolemy became a key figure in the division of Alexander's empire after his death. Clytus was a veteran general and a childhood friend of Alexander. He saved Alexander's life during the Battle of Granicus. These advisors, friends, and generals formed an integral part of Alexander's life, providing counsel, support, and camaraderie. Alexander the Great's first major military campaign, after becoming king, was against the rebellious Thracian tribes and their allies, the Triballi. This campaign occurred in 335 BC, shortly after he ascended to the throne, following his father's assassination. The Thracians and Triballi saw Philip's death as an opportunity to challenge Macedonian authority and assert their independence. Alexander moved swiftly to assert his control over these territories and to establish his own reputation as a capable and formidable leader. In a decisive display of military prowess, Alexander led his forces into battle against these tribes. The campaign was marked by intense fighting and strategic maneuvers. Alexander's army faced tough resistance, but his tactical brilliance and personal courage on the battlefield were evident. The Macedonian forces, under Alexander's command, managed to defeat the Thracian and Triballi forces, securing victory in a series of engagements. These victories established Alexander's authority in the region and sent a clear message to those who might challenge his rule. This successful campaign against the Thracian tribes and the Triballi early in his reign helped solidify Alexander's reputation as a skilled military leader and demonstrated his determination to maintain control over the vast Macedonian empire that he inherited. Alexander the Great's second major military campaign, after securing his position as King of Macedon, was against the Persian Empire. This campaign, known as the Invasion of Persia, marked the beginning of Alexander's legendary conquests and his quest to expand his empire. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed the Hellespont, the strait separating Europe and Asia, with an army of around 40,000 troops, embarking on his ambitious campaign against the Persian Empire, which was then ruled by King Darius III. His army initially faced the Persian forces at the Battle of the Granicus River in Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. Despite being outnumbered, Alexander displayed his tactical brilliance and leadership, leading his troops to a decisive victory over the Persian army. This victory allowed Alexander to secure control over Western Asia Minor and gain the support of several Greek city-states that were under Persian rule. Continuing his advance into the heart of the Persian Empire, Alexander faced further challenges and engagements, including the famous siege of Halicarnassus, a city defended by Persian and Greek forces loyal to Darius. After a protracted siege, Alexander emerged victorious, capturing the city and adding it to his expanding empire. His relentless pursuit of Darius led to the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, where Alexander once again triumphed over the larger Persian army. Darius fled the battlefield, leaving behind his family and treasury, which fell into Alexander's hands. These early victories in Asia Minor and the subsequent battles against the Persians showcased Alexander's military genius, his ability to inspire his troops, and his strategic vision for expansion. They also allowed him to secure territories, gain resources, and weaken the Persian Empire, setting the stage for his further conquests into the heart of Persia and beyond. Alexander the Great's third major military campaign was his conquest of the Levant and Egypt, which took place after his victories in Asia Minor and against the Persian Empire. This campaign is notable for the strategic importance of the regions he targeted and the foundation of the city of Alexandria in Egypt. After defeating Darius III at the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, Alexander continued his march southward, entering Phoenicia and besieging the strategically crucial city of Tyre. Tyre was an island fortress with formidable defenses, and its capture was essential for Alexander's control of the eastern Mediterranean coast. The siege of Tyre lasted for several months and was marked by innovative military engineering. Alexander ordered the construction of a causeway that connected the mainland to the island, allowing his forces to breach the city's defenses and ultimately conquer Tyre in 332 BC. From there, Alexander proceeded southward into Egypt. The Egyptians, resentful of Persian rule, welcomed him as a liberator. He was hailed as a deliverer, and the city of Memphis opened its gates to him without resistance. Alexander was declared Pharaoh of Egypt, a title he readily accepted, solidifying his authority over the region. In Egypt, Alexander founded the city of Alexandria in 331 BC. He strategically chose its location at the western edge of the Nile Delta, foreseeing its future importance as a hub of trade and culture. Alexandria would later become one of the most significant cities in the ancient world, renowned for its library, scholarship, and diverse population. This campaign in the Levant and Egypt marked Alexander's successful expansion into crucial territories, securing the eastern Mediterranean coastline and establishing his dominance in Egypt. It also showcased his ability to gain the support of local populations and strategically found cities that would become centers of commerce and knowledge in his empire. Alexander the Great's fourth major military campaign involved his invasion of the Persian Empire and the pursuit of Darius III, the Persian king, following his conquest of Egypt and the foundation of Alexandria. This campaign is often referred to as the pursuit of Darius. After consolidating his control over Egypt and securing his rule, Alexander turned his attention back to the Persian heartland, determined to confront Darius and further expand his empire. In 331 BC, Alexander marched eastward from Egypt, aiming to confront Darius, who had retreated deeper into the Persian Empire. The pursuit of Darius took Alexander and his army through Phoenicia and the Levant, across Mesopotamia, and towards the heart of the Persian territories. During this campaign, Alexander faced logistical challenges due to the vast distances and diverse terrains. He had to manage his army's supplies and maintain cohesion while covering long distances. The decisive moment of this campaign occurred at the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BC. It was one of the most significant battles of Alexander's conquests. The confrontation took place near the town of Gaugamela in present-day Iraq, where Darius gathered a massive army to face Alexander. The Battle of Gaugamela, fought in 331 BC, was one of the most pivotal and decisive battles of Alexander the Great's conquests and marked a significant turning point in his campaign against the Persian Empire. Darius III, the Persian king, had assembled a vast army to confront Alexander's forces near the town of Gaugamela, modern-day Iraq. Darius aimed to halt Alexander's relentless advance and preserve his crumbling empire. The Persian army, estimated to be much larger than Alexander's, relied on diverse troops, including infantry, cavalry, and chariots. Darius strategically chose a wide open plain for the battle, intending to leverage the size of his forces and the mobility of his cavalry and chariots. Alexander, recognizing the tactical advantages of the terrain, deployed his forces carefully. He emphasized maneuverability and the element of surprise. His army, comprising skilled infantry, the famed companion cavalry, and innovative tactics, faced the daunting challenge of overcoming the numerical superiority of the Persian forces. During the battle, Alexander executed a brilliantly orchestrated plan. He initiated a bold and aggressive assault, leading his forces directly toward the heart of the Persian line. Employing a tactic known as the oblique order, Alexander focused his attack on a single point of the Persian line, aiming to create a gap and exploit weaknesses in the enemy formation. The battle was intense and chaotic, with both sides fiercely engaged in combat. Despite the Persian army's larger numbers, Alexander's tactics and the skill of his troops proved decisive. The Macedonian phalanx held firm against the Persian infantry, while Alexander's cavalry, led by him personally, outmaneuvered and overwhelmed the Persian forces. The turning point came when Alexander, leading a decisive cavalry charge, managed to penetrate deep into the heart of the Persian army, causing disarray and confusion among Darius's ranks. The battle culminated in a rout, with Darius fleeing the battlefield, leaving his forces in disarray. The victory at Gaugamela solidified Alexander's dominance over the Persian Empire, allowing him to claim the title of the King of Kings and assert his control over vast territories. It showcased his tactical genius, innovative strategies, and the effectiveness of his well-disciplined and versatile army. The battle marked a significant milestone in Alexander's conquest, further establishing his reputation as one of history's greatest military commanders. Alexander the Great's fifth major military campaign primarily involved his foray into India, a significant expedition that marked the pinnacle of his conquests and ambitions. In 326 BC, Alexander crossed the Hindu Kush mountains and entered the Indian subcontinent, aiming to expand his empire further eastward and reach the edge of the known world. His campaign into India was driven by a combination of conquest, the desire for glory, and the pursuit of adventure. Alexander encountered various Indian kings and kingdoms, engaging in several battles and skirmishes as he moved deeper into the region. One of the notable encounters was the Battle of the Hydaspes in 326 BC, where Alexander faced King Porus, a formidable Indian ruler known for his bravery and military skill. Despite Porus's valiant efforts and the challenging terrain near the Hydaspes River, Alexander's tactics and the discipline of his forces prevailed, securing victory for the Macedonians. After the Battle of the Hydaspes, Alexander's army faced increasing resistance from his troops, who were fatigued from prolonged campaigning and were wary of continuing deeper into unknown and potentially hostile territories. Their morale suffered, and many soldiers expressed a desire to return home. Alexander's ambitions to press further east into the heart of India were curtailed by the reluctance of his troops and their opposition to continuing the arduous campaign. Facing dissent and the refusal of his soldiers to advance, Alexander reluctantly agreed to turn back, marking the limit of his eastward expansion. During his return journey, Alexander founded several cities, including Alexandria Nicaea and Alexandria Bucephalus, named after his beloved horse Bucephalus, which had died earlier in the campaign. The fifth campaign into India was significant for Alexander, as it showcased the extent of his empire and military prowess. However, it also revealed the limitations of his conquests, as the challenging terrain, the staunch resistance of local rulers, and the weariness of his troops halted his advance, leading to his decision to turn back. Despite not achieving his ultimate goal of reaching the eastern edge of the world, Alexander's expedition into India remains a testament to his audacious spirit and his pursuit of greatness in the ancient world. There isn't a widely recognized or officially termed sixth military campaign in the traditional sense for Alexander the Great. After his Indian campaign, Alexander's ambitions and plans were focused on consolidating his empire and exploring further conquests, particularly in Arabia. Following his return from India, Alexander turned his attention toward plans to explore and potentially conquer the Arabian Peninsula. He aimed to march southward through the Arabian desert and possibly reach the western shores of the Indian Ocean. His intent was to continue his expansion and solidify his control over vast regions beyond his already vast empire. Alexander's personal life during the campaign was fraught with ups and downs, from strategic marriages to tragic and heartbreaking deaths. Statira, also known as Barsin, was the daughter of the Persian king Darius III. After the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, Alexander married Statira and her sister Parysatis, cementing political alliances with the Persian nobility. Statira died in childbirth in 323 BC, along with the child she was carrying. Parysatis was Statira's sister and also became one of Alexander's wives. Like her sister, she was a daughter of Darius III. She accompanied Alexander during his campaigns and was captured after his death. Alexander's marriages were not only strategic alliances, but also ways to bridge cultural divides and demonstrate his ability to integrate different cultures within his empire. Regarding his children, Alexander's only known son was Alexander VII, born posthumously to Roxana after Alexander the Great's death. Alexander IV became a figurehead in the power struggles among his father's generals, who sought to control the vast empire left behind by the legendary conqueror. Unfortunately, both Alexander IV and his mother Roxana faced tragic ends, being killed as part of the political intrigues after Alexander's death. Alexander's life throughout his conquests and after had led to a number of deaths of his closest companions, which are said to have extremely affected him. The details surrounding Bucephalus's death vary in different historical accounts. Some sources suggest that Bucephalus died during the Indian campaign, potentially due to old age or injuries sustained in battles. Other accounts claim that Bucephalus died earlier, possibly before Alexander's Indian campaign, from injuries sustained in a battle or from old age. Regardless of the exact circumstances, Bucephalus's death deeply affected Alexander. He mourned the loss of his faithful companion and named a city Bucephala, modern-day Jhelum in Pakistan, in honor of his beloved horse. The city was founded near the site of Bucephalus's death as a tribute to the loyal steed that had been by Alexander's side during his most significant conquests. Alexander also had a harrowing end to his relationship with his childhood friend, Clytus. The incident involving Alexander and Clytus, known as the killing of Clytus, occurred during a banquet in 328 BC in Marakanda, modern-day Samarkand in Uzbekistan. Clytus was one of Alexander the Great's closest friends and a trusted general, but tensions between them escalated during the event. At the banquet, as the soldiers drank and celebrated, Clytus, in a heated argument, criticized Alexander's adoption of Persian customs and accused him of forgetting his Macedonian roots. Clytus also praised Alexander's deceased father, Philip II, claiming that the king's successes were essential to Alexander's achievements. Incensed by Clytus's remarks, Alexander became enraged and, in a fit of anger, threw a spear at Clytus, fatally wounding him. The act was impulsive, driven by emotions and perhaps fueled by Alexander's frustration with Clytus's outspokenness and the perceived disrespect toward his authority. Immediately after the incident, Alexander was overwhelmed with regret and remorse for killing his friend. He mourned Clytus's death intensely, expressing deep sorrow and guilt for his actions. Some accounts suggest that Alexander was so distraught that he even contemplated suicide in the aftermath of the tragedy. The killing of Clytus is often cited as a pivotal moment that revealed the strains of Alexander's ambition, his volatile temper, and the challenges he faced in maintaining the loyalty of his closest companions while leading his expansive empire. The incident underscores the complexities of leadership and the personal toll that power and authority can exact even on the most celebrated historical figures. The death that is said to have affected Alexander the most, however, is the death of his beloved friend Hephaestion. The exact cause of Hephaestion's death remains a subject of debate among historians, as ancient sources offer conflicting accounts and lack precise details. However, it is generally accepted that Hephaestion died in Ecbatana, an ancient city in modern-day Iran, in 324 BC during one of Alexander the Great's campaigns. Some ancient sources suggest that Hephaestion fell seriously ill and died suddenly, possibly due to an illness like typhoid fever or even a ruptured spleen. Other accounts hint at the possibility of poisoning or a fatal injury during a military exercise or a drinking bout. However, these claims lack strong evidence and are often speculative. The suddenness and unexpected nature of Hephaestion's death deeply affected Alexander. The king mourned his friend's passing with profound grief and sorrow, organizing grand funeral rites and honors comparable to those given to royalty. Alexander's overwhelming grief and his response to Hephaestion's death showcased the depth of their bond and the immense impact of losing his closest companion. Alexander faced increasing challenges in maintaining the cohesion of his empire. The vastness of his territories, the diversity of cultures and traditions, and the strains on his army due to continuous campaigning tested his ability to govern effectively. Alexander the Great's death occurred in 323 BC in Babylon at the age of 32. The exact cause of his death remains a subject of debate and speculation among historians, as ancient sources offer various theories and explanations. One prevalent account suggests that Alexander fell seriously ill after attending a banquet or a drinking session, which might have included excessive consumption of alcohol. His illness quickly worsened, leading to a high fever and severe abdominal pain. Historians have proposed several possible causes, including malaria, typhoid fever, pancreatitis, or even poisoning. Another theory suggests that Alexander's death might have been the result of natural causes compounded by years of physical strain, injuries sustained in battles, and the stress of continuous military campaigns. However, due to the lack of detailed medical records and conflicting ancient accounts, the exact nature of the illness that led to Alexander's death remains uncertain. During his final days, Alexander reportedly became increasingly weak and delirious. He was aware of his impending death and made arrangements for the succession of his empire, although his wishes were never formally documented. Alexander's death triggered widespread mourning among his soldiers, companions, and the peoples of his empire. His passing left a power vacuum and sparked a succession crisis among his generals, leading to a period of instability and the division of his empire among his successors, known as the Wars of the Diadochi. The sudden and untimely death of Alexander the Great marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in ancient history, as his vast empire fragmented and gave rise to competing dynasties and kingdoms vying for power and control over the territories he had conquered. In the annals of history, the life and conquests of Alexander the Great remain an enduring saga, a testament to the ambition, brilliance, and complexities of a legendary figure. His story, a tapestry woven with triumphs and tragedies, reverberates through time as an emblem of indomitable spirit and relentless pursuit of greatness. From the Macedonian hills to the far reaches of Asia, Alexander's journey reshaped the known world, leaving an indelible mark on civilizations. His insatiable thirst for conquest and exploration propelled him beyond the boundaries of his age, forging an empire that spanned continents and cultures. Yet, amidst the glories of conquest, Alexander's story is also one of human frailty and the burdens of power. His unyielding ambition and determination were matched only by the toll exacted on his friendships, the turmoil within his court, and the weight of ruling an empire too vast to fully comprehend. In the aftermath of his untimely demise, the world he carved lay fragmented, engulfed in the struggles of his successors. The legacy of Alexander the Great endures not merely in the lands he conquered or the cities he founded, but in the echoes of his influence on art, literature, philosophy, and the tapestry of cultures he united under the vast canopy of his empire. His story stands as an eternal testament to the heights of human achievement, the complexities of leadership, and the enduring quest for immortality. Alexander's legacy lives on, inspiring generations with the legend of a man who dared to conquer the known world and, in doing so, forever altered the course of history.